All right, so you wanted to get a handle on making warehouses run like a well-oiled machine.
Mm.
And you sent over this really interesting article to get us started.
Oh yeah, this one's great. Effective Warehouse Operations from Procure4 Marketing.
That's the one. Published April 3rd, 2024. Get ready to dive deep into the core components and strategies that can really make a difference.
You know, it's funny, we hear about supply chains all the time these days,
Right.
but it can feel kind of abstract. This article brings it down to earth,
Yeah.
focusing on the warehouse itself.
It calls warehouses the heart of the supply chain. Why are they so crucial?
Well, think about it. You order something online,
Mm.
and poof, it shows up a couple of days later. Like magic, right?
Yeah.
Behind that magic is a whole network of warehouses working nonstop to get that product to you. They're central hubs. Goods flow in, get sorted, stored, then flow back out to us.
To customers or businesses.
Exactly. If the warehouse isn't running smoothly, the whole supply chain can get jammed up.
So no pressure on the warehouse team. They're juggling a lot, right?
Right. This article mentions 4 main goals for efficient warehouse operations: efficiency, accuracy, safety, and cost effectiveness.
Those are some pretty high stakes.
Definitely. And they all connect too. You can't really have one without the others.
How so?
Well, like a safe work environment, fewer accidents, less disruption. Ultimately, that improves efficiency and reduces costs.
It's all connected, like a domino effect,
Yeah.
if one piece falls.
The whole system feels it.
Yeah.
And that's why you need a big picture approach to warehouse operations, focusing on all 4 goals at the same time.
So let's get into the nuts and bolts. How to achieve those goals. The article breaks down the key components of a well-run warehouse.
Perfect.
Let's start with inventory management. Sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it than meets the eye.
Oh, definitely more than just stacking boxes. It's about having the right amount of the right stuff in the right place at the right time.
Okay, so not just how much you have.
No. It's what you have and where it is. Overstock, you waste space and money.
Yeah.
Understock, delays, unhappy customers.
Makes sense.
Think of those massive warehouses, rows and rows of shelves. If your system says you've got 100 blue widgets in aisle 5, but they're actually in aisle 7, headaches.
Major headaches.
Inaccurate inventory data leads to delays, wrong shipments, frustration for everyone.
Like trying to find a needle in a haystack?
Yeah,
But the haystack is the size of a football field?
exactly. That's where technology comes in. A good inventory management system is a game changer. We'll talk more about the tech side later.
For sure. The article also mentions just-in-time inventory. Sounds kind of like a cooking show, getting ingredients delivered right when you need them.
It is similar. The idea is to minimize storage time and costs. You receive goods only when you need them.
So no stockpiles of stuff just sitting around.
Right. Imagine a company making custom t-shirts instead of tons of blanks in every color and size.
They just order what they need for each order.
Exactly. It requires tight coordination with suppliers and a super smooth logistics operation.
All about timing and precision. Okay, so we've got inventory management. Next up, warehouse layout and design. Why is this so important?
Think about your kitchen. You wouldn't want it to be a disaster zone when you're trying to cook, right?
Definitely not.
Everything in its place makes it so much smoother. A well-designed warehouse is like that. A perfectly organized kitchen. Everything flows, receiving to shipping.
I'm already thinking about reorganizing my pantry.
It's amazing how these principles apply everywhere. But back to warehouses. A bad layout means bottlenecks, wasted space, more handling time. A strategic layout. Huge boost to efficiency and productivity.
So it's not just about looks, it's about how things move within the warehouse, goods and people.
Yeah.
What are the key things to think about when designing a good layout?
First, what are you handling? Bulky items, fragile stuff, perishable goods.
Right.
That'll determine your storage needs. Shelving, pallet racking, temperature control.
Like designing a custom home for all the different products.
It is. Then the flow of goods, ideally a smooth one-way flow, receiving to shipping, minimal backtracking.
Like a choreographed dance for forklifts?
Exactly. Don't forget about high-demand items. Keep those easy to access to minimize picking time.
Okay, makes sense. Reducing wasted steps in movement. Speaking of reducing waste, this article dives into technology and automation, and it's pretty mind-blowing.
It really is. Technology is changing everything about how warehouses operate. We're talking systems that track inventory live, robots picking and packing orders super fast.
Yeah.
Even software analyzing data to optimize things like storage space and shipping routes.
It's like a sci-fi movie.
Right, but this is becoming the norm. One of the key technologies mentioned is warehouse management systems, or WMS. It's like the brain of a modern warehouse.
Right. Okay, break that down for me. What does a WMS actually do?
It ties everything together.
Yeah.
Real-time visibility into inventory, order status, shipping info, even where equipment is in the warehouse.
Wow.
It's like a giant control panel giving you an overview of the whole operation.
The ultimate multitasking tool for a warehouse manager.
Exactly. A WMS optimizes every step: receiving, picking, shipping. It can even suggest the most efficient picking routes for workers, less wasted time and movement.
Like a super efficient personal assistant for the whole warehouse.
That's a great way to put it. And thanks to cloud computing, WMS is getting more affordable, not just for huge companies anymore.
So even smaller warehouses can get in on the tech action.
Definitely. And it's not just WMS. Robotics and automation are getting more sophisticated and affordable all the time.
I'm picturing robots zipping around, fulfilling orders. Is that where we're headed?
It's becoming more common. But don't worry, it's not a robot takeover just yet. Human expertise is still essential, especially for problem solving, quality control, those unexpected things robots aren't quite ready for.
That's reassuring. It's about humans and tech working together, not one replacing the other.
Exactly. And that's where workforce management comes into play. Even in a high-tech warehouse, people are still key.
Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the people who make these warehouses tick. The article really emphasizes workforce management.
Absolutely.
It's not just about having bodies to fill positions. It's about a skilled and motivated team.
Right. And these days, that means investing in training and development. So your workforce has the skills to thrive alongside all this new technology.
Because I imagine there's a learning curve for people used to more traditional ways of working.
For sure.
How can warehouses effectively train and upskill their employees?
It starts with a commitment to continuous learning. On-the-job training, online courses, even partnerships with local technical schools.
So it's about creating a culture of growth and development.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills either. Soft skills are crucial too. Communication, problem solving, adaptability.
Okay, yeah. In case a robot malfunctions or something.
Right. You need a human who can assess the situation, communicate it, find a workaround. Those human skills are still essential, even in this world of automation. It's finding the right balance.
Technology and human expertise.
Exactly. Get that balance right, and you have a truly high-performing warehouse team ready for anything.
It's fascinating to see how all these components fit together. Inventory management, layout, technology, workforce management. It's like pieces of a puzzle.
It is. And when they're all in place, you've got a well-oiled machine that can handle anything.
This has been a great deep dive into the core elements of running a warehouse efficiently. We've covered a lot,
We have.
but there's still so much more to explore.
There is. We've just scratched the surface.
And that's exactly what we'll do in the next part of our deep dive. We'll be taking a closer look at the specific strategies warehouses can use to boost their efficiency even further.
Looking forward to it.
I can't wait.
You know, it's interesting. When we think about efficiency,
Yeah.
we tend to focus on the big, flashy stuff. Robots, fancy algorithms, drones zipping around.
Makes sense.
But sometimes the biggest improvements come from focusing on the human side.
You're so right. We talked about training and upskilling, but there's more to it than that, right? Creating a workforce that's really engaged, empowered. The article mentions fostering a positive work environment. That really resonated with me.
Absolutely. It's not just about checking boxes on a safety list. It's about building a culture where people feel valued, respected, motivated to do their best.
So how do you create that kind of environment in a warehouse? It's not exactly the first place that comes to mind when you think happy workplace, you know?
It's a challenge, but it's possible. It starts with leadership. Leaders setting the tone. Open communication, recognizing hard work, really listening to their teams.
Creating a sense of ownership, pride, not just like punching the clock.
Exactly. When employees feel like they're part of a team, part of something bigger, they're more likely to go the extra mile.
The article mentions that a positive work environment can actually lead to real, measurable improvements in efficiency. Have you seen that in your experience?
Oh, absolutely. I remember working with a warehouse team that was struggling. Low morale, high turnover.
Oh,
They started a simple program, recognizing employees for their contributions, big or small.
what kind of recognition?
Nothing fancy. Shout out in a meeting, a small gift card, even just a handwritten thank you note from a manager. The impact was huge.
So just acknowledging people's work can really make a difference.
It can make all the difference. People want to feel appreciated. And when they do, They're more engaged, more productive.
It's a positive cycle then. Good environment leads to better performance, more recognition, even higher morale.
Exactly. And, technology can actually help with that. There are platforms designed for employee recognition and rewards. Streamline the process, make it easier for managers to show appreciation.
It's cool to see tech being used to enhance the human element, not just replace it. Okay, but let's be real. There are challenges with workforce management in warehouses. The article doesn't shy away from that.
Of course. One of the biggest is just finding and keeping qualified workers. The work can be tough, long hours, and there's a lot of competition for skilled labor out there.
And as we've been talking about, the nature of warehouse work is changing so fast. All this new tech, new skills needed, makes it even harder to find people who are ready to jump in.
It is. And it's not just finding new workers. It's about retraining existing workers to adapt to this new landscape.
The article mentions that some companies are struggling to keep workers motivated and productive as things get more automated. How do you address that?
Be upfront about the changes that are happening, how it will impact their roles. Provide training, development opportunities, help them see how they can grow their careers within the company.
So it's not just, here's a robot, figure it out.
Right. And remember, automation doesn't have to mean fewer jobs. It can actually create new ones. Instead of manually picking and packing, workers can be trained to operate and maintain those robots.
Shifting the focus from manual labor to more technical skills.
Exactly. And creating a culture where learning and growth are encouraged, rewarded.
So it's a mindset shift for both employees and employers, embracing the opportunities tech brings while still valuing human expertise.
Absolutely. Get that balance right, and you have a team that can thrive in this ever-changing world of logistics.
We've talked a lot about the people, but let's shift gears and talk about the physical space. That article highlights the importance of warehouse layout and design. It seems like this is where things really get down to brass tacks.
It is. A well-designed warehouse can make all the difference. It's about creating a space where things flow smoothly, receiving to shipping. Workers can move around easily and safely, and you're making the most of every square foot.
The article talks about clear pathways, placing high-demand items near packing and shipping areas, all about minimizing movement, maximizing that flow.
Exactly. Think of it like designing a city. Wide, well-maintained roads for efficient transportation.
Okay.
Important buildings, hospitals, schools, easy to get to, and avoiding traffic jams at all costs.
So a warehouse is like a mini-city with its own logistical challenges.
That's a great way to think about it. And just like a city, a warehouse needs to be designed with growth and flexibility in mind. Anticipate future needs, make sure the layout can adapt as your business evolves.
So what are some key things to consider when designing that layout?
First, what are you storing? What's the volume of traffic? Large, heavy items that need special equipment. Or small, light things that can be moved by hand.
Like designing a custom-fit suit for your inventory.
Exactly. Then the flow of goods. Ideally, one way, receiving to shipping. Minimal backtracking.
Like a conveyor belt of efficiency.
Right. Don't forget about the workers, though. Clear pathways, ergonomic workstations to minimize strain, enough break areas and restrooms.
Making it efficient and people-friendly.
Exactly. And technology can help here, too. Software that simulates different layouts, identifies potential bottlenecks. You can even use virtual reality to walk through a virtual model.
It's like having a digital twin of your warehouse.
It is. That can be so valuable for spotting problems before they even happen.
So we've got flow of goods, needs of the workers, and using tech to help design the layout. Anything else?
One thing people often overlook is lighting.
Oh, yeah.
Good lighting is crucial for safety and productivity.
Makes sense. Hard to be efficient when you can't see what you're doing.
Exactly. Natural light is best. But even in a warehouse with limited natural light, you can use artificial lighting to make it a bright, inviting workspace.
It's not just about functionality, it's about creating a space where people want to be.
Absolutely. And that ties back to what we were saying earlier, that positive work environment. It's all connected.
It's amazing how all these different aspects of warehouse operations are interconnected. It's not just about optimizing individual processes, it's about creating a system where everything works together.
You got it. And that leads to one of the biggest challenges, making sure everything runs smoothly, even when unexpected issues pop up.
Right, because no matter how well you plan, there are always going to be bumps in the road. The article talks about that. It lists several key challenges warehouses face. The first one that jumps out is inventory inaccuracies. Seems like a small thing, but...
Oh, it can be huge. Think about it. If your inventory records are off, You might order too much of one thing, not enough of another,
Right.
ship the wrong items to customers, delays in fulfilling orders. It all snowballs.
A domino effect of errors and inefficiencies.
Exactly, and it hurts your reputation with customers and suppliers.
So how do you fight inventory inaccuracies? The article mentions robust inventory management systems, but is it just about having the right software?
Software is part of it, yes.
Mhm.
A good system tracks goods in real time, flags discrepancies, helps you spot patterns and problems.
Like a digital watchdog for your inventory.
Exactly. But you also need clear processes for receiving, storing, shipping goods. Everyone who handles inventory needs to be trained properly.
A system of checks and balances.
Oh.
Human and technological.
Right. And regularly auditing your inventory, making sure the physical count matches what's in the system.
So it's an ongoing process, monitoring, verifying, adjusting.
It is. And it's worth it. Accurate inventory data is essential. Reduce costs, improve customer satisfaction. It gives you a competitive edge.
Okay, inventory accuracy is one challenge. What's another big one warehouses run into?
Space utilization. Warehouses are expensive to run. Every square foot costs money. You have to make the most of what you have.
We talked about some strategies like vertical storage, narrow aisle design. Are there other challenges specific to space utilization?
One common one is just poor layout, bottlenecks, inefficiencies, like if the receiving area is too small, delays unloading trucks, or if packing is too far from shipping, extra steps.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly. And warehouse layouts aren't static. They need to be flexible. New product line, maybe you need to reconfigure your storage, order volume increases, expand your shipping area.
So it's constantly evaluating and adjusting. You can't just set it up once and forget it.
Nope. Technology can help here too. Software that simulates different layouts, shows you potential bottlenecks. You can even use virtual reality to walk through a virtual model and see how it would work.
Like playing Tetris with your warehouse layout.
That's a great analogy. It could be fun. But seriously, using tech to optimize space can save a lot of money and make things way more efficient.
Win-win. Play Tetris, improve your warehouse at the same time. Okay, we talked inventory inaccuracies, space utilization. What's another big challenge the article brings up?
Labor management. Finding and keeping good workers is tough for a lot of warehouses. Demanding work, long hours, pay that's not always competitive.
And as we've discussed, the work itself is changing so rapidly with new technologies, new challenges for workers and managers both.
Right? Workers constantly need to be upskilling, managers figuring out how to motivate and engage people as things get more automated.
The article talked about investing in training, creating a positive work environment. What are some other strategies for good labor management in a warehouse?
One is focusing on ergonomics. Workstations designed to minimize strain, right tools and equipment, encouraging breaks throughout the day.
So it's productive, but also safe.
Exactly. Another strategy is flexible work schedules, especially helpful for people with families or commitments outside of work.
Recognizing that workers have lives outside the warehouse.
Right. And it's not just about being nice, it's good business.
Yeah.
Valued and respected workers are more engaged, more productive.
A win-win all around.
It is.
No.
More and more companies are realizing that.
Okay, so we've covered inventory inaccuracies, space utilization, and labor management. What's that final big challenge the article highlights?
Adapting to technology. As we've been discussing, technology is changing the warehouse industry at an incredible pace. Keeping up can be really tough.
Like trying to hit a moving target.
Exactly. It's not just about adding new tech. It's about integrating it into existing systems, training people to use it effectively.
Right.
It's about change management.
Big time.
And it's about having a vision for the future,
Yeah.
a plan for getting there.
So what are some tips for companies trying to keep up with all this change?
Start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one or two technologies you think will make the biggest difference and focus on those.
A phased approach.
Right. Another tip, involve your employees. Get their input on what technologies would be helpful. Provide training and support. Make sure they understand how these changes will benefit them.
So everyone's on board.
Exactly. And celebrate successes along the way. Big or small, recognize and reward those efforts. It builds momentum, keeps people excited about change.
Creating a culture of continuous improvement.
Exactly. That's something we'll be exploring in more depth in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm excited to see where this conversation takes us next. We've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from the basics of running a warehouse to the cutting-edge tech that's shaping the future.
It has been a fascinating journey.
But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore.
Right. In the next segment, we'll be looking at specific strategies warehouses can use to improve efficiency, even with all these challenges we've been talking about. Things like lean principles, cross-docking, and continuous process improvement.
Sounds like we're going to get even more practical and tactical in our next episode.
We are. Actionable insights you can use to improve your own warehouse operations.
I can't wait. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of warehousing. All right, welcome back. We're diving into the final part of our exploration of efficient warehouse operations. We've talked about the foundations, the tech revolution, and those all-important people.
That's right.
Now it's time to get strategic. How do we take all those pieces and turn a warehouse into a well-oiled, profit-generating machine?
Exactly. We've got the knowledge. Now it's about putting it into action.
The article highlights 3 big strategies for boosting efficiency.
Lean principles, cross-docking, and continuous process improvement.
And these aren't just buzzwords, right? These are proven ways to make a real difference to the bottom line.
Absolutely. Proven approaches.
So let's start with lean. It seems like one of those concepts that goes way beyond just warehouses. I've heard it applied to everything from manufacturing to healthcare to personal productivity. What's the core idea?
It's all about eliminating waste.
Okay.
Anything that doesn't add value for the customer, you get rid of it.
So streamlining, simplifying, getting rid of anything that's slowing you down or costing you money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Streamlining, simplifying. And when you apply those lean principles to a warehouse, the results can be amazing.
Think about all the potential waste in a warehouse. Excess inventory, moving stuff around unnecessarily, people waiting around, defect.
Over-processing things.
It's like clutter, but on a massive scale.
That's a great way to put it.
The article mentions a technique called 5S. It sounds kind of intense, like a military operation. Is that the level of discipline we're talking about?
It does have a very structured approach, but it's not about being rigid. 5S stands for sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain.
5 S's.
It's a framework for a clean, organized, and efficient workspace.
Okay, break it down for me. What does each S actually mean in a warehouse?
Sort means going through everything.
Yeah.
What's needed, what's not. Get rid of the stuff that's obsolete, broken, or just taking up space. Set in order is about organizing what you keep. Make it easy to find, easy to access.
Gotcha.
Shine is keeping the warehouse clean, well-maintained. It's about safety and efficiency. Standardize is having clear procedures. Everyone knows what to do, how to do it. And finally, sustain. Making 5S a habit, part of the culture.
So everyone's on the same page. They know where things are, how to do things.
Exactly. 5S done right, you'll see improvements in safety, productivity, morale.
It's amazing, really. Something as simple as organization can have that much impact.
It really can. And it's not just theory. Tons of companies have used lean principles to completely transform their operations.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. There's a case study about this big distribution center. They had long lead times, lots of errors. They went all in on lean. Streamlined picking and packing, reduced inventory, got departments talking to each other better, lead times cut in half, error rates plummeted, customer satisfaction went way up.
Wow. So it's not just about making things neater. It's about making everything run better.
Smoother, faster, more efficiently. It's about a culture of continuous improvement, which brings us to cross-docking.
I love the name cross-docking. Sounds like something out of a fast-paced action movie. Goods flying in and out of the warehouse at lightning speed.
It's all about speed and efficiency. Cross-docking is when incoming goods go straight to outbound trucks. Little to no storage time.
So the warehouse is like a pit stop, not a long-term parking lot for products.
Perfect analogy. Think of a busy airport. Passengers and bags transferring between flights without really stopping.
Makes sense. Less storage, lower costs, faster movement, happier customers. But sounds complex to set up.
It does take planning and coordination. You need to know your shipments inside and out and have a transportation network you can rely on.
And I bet tech plays a big part in this too.
Absolutely. You need a sophisticated warehouse management system, a WMS, to make it work. Tracking shipments, optimizing schedules, minimizing handling time.
It's making sure everything flows smoothly. Got a real-world example of cross-docking in action.
Sure. Imagine a company distributing fresh produce, fruits, vegetables. Got to get them to supermarkets and restaurants fast.
Freshness is key.
Exactly. Trucks come in with shipments, the produce is checked, sorted, and then immediately loaded onto other trucks, heading out to stores. Minimal time in the warehouse, maximum freshness.
It's like a perfectly timed relay race.
Exactly. It highlights the speed and efficiency cross-docking can achieve.
But like you said, it's not for every product or every warehouse.
Right. But when it's done strategically, it can be a powerful way to boost efficiency and keep customers happy.
Okay, we've covered lean principles and cross-docking. Now for that last strategy. Continuous process improvement. That sounds more like a philosophy than a specific technique.
It is a philosophy. It's about always looking for ways to do things better,
Yeah.
faster, more efficiently, never settling for good enough.
So it's about having that mindset baked into how the warehouse operates.
Exactly.
hmm
And it involves everyone, from the manager to the people on the floor.
Everyone's looking for ways to improve things.
Exactly. It's about empowering employees to take ownership, contribute their ideas. That's how you build a truly high-performing team.
And it's not always about big, dramatic changes, right?
Often, it's the small, incremental improvements that add up over time. The article talks about Kaizen, a Japanese term for continuous improvement.
I've heard of Kaizen. It's about making small changes regularly instead of trying to change everything at once.
Exactly. Small changes, consistently applied, can lead to huge improvements. It's like compound interest, but for efficiency.
I like that. So how do you actually apply Kaizen in a warehouse?
First, you need a culture where people feel comfortable pointing out problems and suggesting solutions.
Mm.
Then you need a system for testing and implementing those solutions in a structured way.
So more than just a suggestion box.
Right. You have to take those suggestions seriously, turn them into action.
And celebrate those wins along the way, even the small ones.
Exactly. Recognize those contributions. It builds momentum, helps make continuous improvement a habit. Part of how the warehouse runs every day.
That's a great way to put it. Efficiency as a habit.
And that can benefit everything. Inventory, order fulfillment, safety.
This has been such a fascinating look into the world of warehouses.
I agree.
We've talked about the basics, the technology, the people, and all these strategies that can help take things to the next level. But at the end of the day, it's about delivering value to the customer.
It is.
That's the ultimate goal. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into efficient warehouse operations.